Hi guys, I have made a little headway, so I thought I would update you guys. Oh geez, in the last week and a half, 2 weeks, I'm not even sure what day it is today. Anyway, I saw the endocrinologist on the 20th, and I went in and discussed with her that I wanted to start the path towards bariatric surgery. So we kind of discussed two options. We discussed the sleeve, and we discussed gastric bypass, or the Roux-en-y, and decided that, because initially I had thought about having the sleeve. However, I have a very large amount of weight to lose. I could very easily lose 200 pounds and still kind of be on the high end of what's considered normal for my height. I've never been that size really anyway. Even when I was skinny, I was at the higher end of what's considered normal. What would be a healthy BMI for me, for my height, because I am only 5'1", so I am a very short person. And I have a very excessive amount of weight, and she just didn't think that the sleeve would provide enough weight loss to correct the health conditions that are causing me to have surgery in the first place. It might be able enough to alleviate some of the issues. You know, this piece of hair is going to drive me crazy. It might make it so that, you know, my sleep apnea is better than it is now, but it wouldn't get rid of it, if you know what I mean. So we decided the Roux-en-y would be the best option. That would offer the most weight loss and would most likely get rid of things like the sleep apnea and the joint pain, and hopefully pre-diabetes, and keep me from becoming diabetic altogether. I recently found out that diabetes runs pretty big in my dad's side of the family. That's a whole other story. Yeah, I'll try and do a video about that some other time. But I've recently come to know my brothers and my dad's side of the family. My dad has passed away 19, almost 20 years ago, so I do not get to know him. But anyway, because diabetes and heart attack and all of that run very strongly on his side of the family, that has just reaffirmed my decision to have this surgery. I now have medical information that I didn't have before, and that's scary. That's really scary. And I talked to one of my aunts who was very close with my dad, and she agreed that surgery was a good idea, and that you kind of playing with fire. Yeah, I didn't know how bad it was before, and I do now. So anyway, so I went and I saw the endocrinologist, and we talked it through, and we got the ball rolling. We discussed what surgery I was going to have. I've already done all the blood work and everything that I need to do. I don't know if there's anything more the surgeon will want me to do before. But when I asked the endocrinologist, she said that I had everything done, blood tests and stuff. So we'll see what the surgeon says. But she sent me to the behavioral therapist. She's the one that I've seen in the past, and she is the one that I see every second and fourth Tuesday of the month for the weight loss maintenance support group that I go to. So I went in and I talked to her, and we did the psych eval, and she gave the okay for me to go ahead and have surgery. I basically had to get through her. I had to prove to her that I was ready and that I had made the necessary changes to make the surgery be worthwhile and be successful. And she said that she had recently seen something, this is how she worded it, she had seen something break free in my mind, because I was very much against surgery for a very long time. And she said she didn't know if it was the pre-diabetes or whatever, but something finally broke loose, and I said enough is enough, and I need to make changes. I need out. And that's kind of the way I put it. I need out of this body. Now, that is in no way, shape, or form body shaming myself. I love my body for the things that it does provide for me, the life that it provides for me every day. The fact that my heart is still beating and my lungs are still breathing and my blood is still flowing and I'm not dead. Kind of the same thing. Yeah, I love my uterus for the fact that it has provided me with 4 healthy children. However, I hate it desperately and want to rip it out every time I have a period. It's the same basic thing. I'm grateful for my body and its ability to hold out through all of this because I've put it through hell. You know, I was a smoker in my 20s, and I've eaten like shit, and I've gotten myself to an insane weight, and my body's still held up. It's struggling now and is in a lot of pain, but my heart's still beating. So I am grateful for those things. I do not fat shame myself. I have I think a pretty thick skin. I don't let a lot of it get to me. Yeah, things kind of bother me, and I do get anxious about people noticing my weight, but for the most part, when they make comments and stuff, I'm able to brush it off and just keep going. However, this has been kind of a rough week at work. I had a really rough day on Wednesday. Today's Friday. We had gone to the county fair, and we didn't have any petty cash or anything to pay for parking in or around the fairgrounds. So we had to park down the road at our office, our company's actual main office. We parked in that parking lot, and using my Fitbit, which I'm going to put back on while I'm thinking about it. Using my Fitbit, I figured it out to be about 3/4 of a mile from the office to the entrance where we went in anyway of the fair. And I was with my group, and there were 2 other co-workers. One came with me, and then the other one was meeting us there. And the one that came with me is a lot younger and a lot more fit and able to walk very quickly. And most of the kids in my group are able to walk pretty quickly. They tend not to because I can't, so they go at my pace. Sometimes they get a little irritated with me, but they're pretty good about it. So this staff, she went pretty far ahead of me, and at several points was probably a good 2 blocks ahead of me while we were walking to the fairgrounds. And it was, God, I don't even know, it was embarrassing. It was frustrating. It was, I don't even know what the word is. I don't have the right word for it. I felt like shit. Honest to God, it made me feel like shit that she went so far ahead and left me behind. And I was walking as quickly as I could, as quickly as my body would allow. I was in a lot of pain. My legs were hurting quite a bit. By the time we got into the fairgrounds, I had to sit down. I was having dizzy spells, and I needed to just sit and rest and get a drink of water. And she just kept going. She'd stop at like the stoplight, wait for me to catch up, and then she'd just go again, and she'd leave me way behind. At one point, one of my participants kind of lagged back and walked with me for a little while, but eventually he went back up with her, and I was embarrassed, and I was mad, and I was frustrated, and I was mostly mad and frustrated with myself for getting myself to the point where this was the situation I was in. And a little bit of it was, come on, what are you doing? Why are you being so rude? Why are you walking so far ahead of me? It was kind of a jerk move. She was kind of being a little bit of a jerk. And I mean, I understand that there was probably frustration on her end that I was not walking as fast as she was, and I was not keeping up with the group. So I'm sure she felt like I was a little bit of a jerk. But I honestly, physically couldn't keep up with her. And I had to ask the other staff who had come in another vehicle if he would be willing to go back to his van and come and pick me up and take me back to my car, where I would sit with one of the participants and wait for the other girl to walk back, because obviously she could walk back quite quickly, and if I had walked back, we would have never made it back in time for parents to pick up their kids. So it sucked, and I held back tears the entire time, and I couldn't talk to the other staff very much because I had clenched my jaw shut so that I wouldn't cry. I didn't want to cry in front of my participants. I didn't want them to think anything was wrong. I didn't want them to villainize the other staff in any other way, because I know that with a couple of them that would have happened. They would have been kind of nasty to her, and I don't want that. So I just chose to kind of keep my mouth quiet and do my best to continue on with the afternoon. We really didn't get to do anywhere near as much as I would have liked to have done. I was miserable the entire time we were there, and it just sucked. It took all the wind out of my sails for the rest of the day. I went home and I was just in a foul mood. I was on the verge of tears. I felt like shit. So that reaffirmed, again, the reason I'm having this surgery. I don't want to feel that embarrassment. And again, it's not that I'm embarrassed about myself, it's just embarrassment of my abilities. And a sadness, not being able to keep up and not being able to participate. And physically just not being able to do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. And it's not that I'm being stubborn or a sissy or wussing out. It's, I physically can't do these things. My body won't allow me. And I feel trapped. I feel very trapped in a body that doesn't work. And it sucks. It sucks so bad. So again, that just reaffirmed my decision to have surgery and to create a better life for myself and for my kids and my husband. And, you know, I've got 2 new brothers that I want to be able to get to know and spend time with, and I don't want to have a heart attack and die in a year or 2 and not get that time with them. Or my nieces and my nephews, and I've got this new awesome aunt that I don't want to miss out on all that. So now I see the surgeon on August 16th, so again about 2.5 weeks from now. I don't really know what exactly gets talked about, what happens after that. I don't know if he has any more tests that he will want to run. I know I will have to see a dietitian one more time right before I have surgery, and they will kind of go over what my diet will be like after the surgery. You know, there's different phases of clear liquids and purees and all that kind of stuff before you work your way up to relatively normal diet. So yeah, I see the surgeon soon. Not soon enough, but soon. And then a dietitian, and I should have a surgery date here in a couple of weeks. I will know when the surgery is. I'm excited. I'm nervous. But I'm glad I made some headway. I'm glad we're finally getting somewhere again, and I feel like there's a light at the end of the tunnel. I feel like there's something good in my future, something to look forward to. A lot of times I would see things that I want to buy, things I want to wear, things I want to do, and I would get mad because I know I can't do that. I don't fit. My body won't allow me. They don't make that in my size, whatever. But now that I made the decision to have surgery, I start with, I want that, and I can't have it. And it turns into, I can't have it yet, but I will. And I have an example, and it's kind of a silly example, but it's been a driving force for me. On Facebook the other day, I saw these really cheesy, corny, knee-high cow socks. I mean, they're the corniest things in the world. Your feet are like the snout and the face and stuff, and then it's all the way up to your knees, the cow pattern and what have you, the Holstein pattern. And I'm like, oh, those are so cute. I would so rock those all winter long because they're funny and that's just my personality. And I'm like, oh, I want them. Oh, but I can't have them because they don't fit. They're made for, obviously, much thinner people than me. And, yeah, I can't even wear plus size knee-high socks. So, I'm really not going to be able to fit into those. But then I went, but wait, I will. I will eventually be able to wear stuff like that. So maybe I should put this away in my mind and keep it as a goal, a gift to myself for the hard work that I'm going to do to get to the size to be able to wear those kinds of things. So silly little things like that are kind of keeping me driven and reminding me why I'm doing this and the fun things that I get to do when I make all these changes. So anyway, I better get to work. I will see you guys later. Please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, and let me know what other little things would be good incentives. What other little things would be good treats somewhere down the road. Obviously non-food treats, but things to gift myself with for all the hard work that I'm doing. So if you have any ideas, let me know in the comments below, and I will see you guys later. Bye!